Hey R2, we are going to go over f-stop, film speed, and aperture speed or shutter speed. We're going to go over that right now. So what we're going to do is I've got my camera on already. I'm going to take off the lens cap and I'm going to look at my settings here. I'm first going to make sure that I'm on manual mode. I'm on manual mode. I'm going to push my ISO button, and here you might be on auto. You want to change that to a different ISO. So that's your film speed. And so if I'm in a dark room, this room doesn't feel super dark, but it is fairly dark. And so I am going to, in a darker room, I have less light, so my film needs to be faster. We're not using film, but we're just pretending. I need my sensor to be more sensitive, so it needs to be a bigger number. So I'm going to go 32. And in order to, I went dark there, I left it on for too long. ISO is right here, that's the button. And this is where I choose it. Now in order to choose that particular ISO, you need to push set, and now you've got it up here on the upper right of your menu. So let's just take a picture and see what that looks like. Okay, that looks like it's fairly properly exposed. Here's the button to look at the pictures right here, this little blue arrow guy. So that looks like it's exposed pretty well. It's a little bit hard for you to see, but it looks okay to me. Now, if I want, it looks a little bit overexposed actually. It's a little bit lighter than it should be. Now, if I want to change that, the easiest way to change the exposure really quickly is this dial right here that's next to the shutter release button. So I can just change that right there, and that changes how long my shutter is open or my aperture is open. And so inside your viewfinder, you have something that looks like this, where you can see there's like a little dot that moves around. You want that little dot usually to be right at that 0. And so that is a better exposure. Here's the, did I delete the old one? Oh, I need to go this way. Okay, so here's the first exposure. See, it's a little bit too bright. Here's my second exposure. That one looks quite nice. So I just changed my aperture setting, my shutter speed here to 1/250th. Now, what if I want to change my focal, my area of focus? So that is my aperture. This is my shutter speed, there's my aperture, there's my film speed. So let's look at my aperture opening, or my f-stop, and if I want to change that, I push this little AV button here, and see how the little arrow guys switch from my film, shutter speed to my aperture, to my f-stop. And so when I do that, now the little button or little dial on the top changes my f-stop. So I can go way low. That'll make it so that I get more light into my sensor, and it will make a narrower depth of field. So this is more fuzzy in this picture than it was in the last picture. Also, I've got more light onto my lens. And so that is how I change those settings.